Everything Great About the Matrix is sponsored by the Curiosity Stream Nebula Bundle. Part 1, Part 2, plus extra content that YouTube didn't like are on Nebula now. Link in the description below. Green tinted interlacing / shutter speed flicker Matrix style opening credits.
We're gonna kill him. You understand that?
Ha! Cypher already wants to kill him. Or maybe he means accidentally. Either way, he's not wrong. They do kill him, or, well, someone does.
Did you hear that?
Hear what?
Are you sure this line is clean?
I did. You can actually hear a little blip right after the number inputs. And it's a dope 3D representation of these numbers. And you thought Edgar Wright was the only one good at scene transitions. Is this video going to be a lot of things that I think are iconic, like the karate kick sound when the cop kicks the door? I don't know, it's been less than 2 minutes, chill out. Seriously though, the sound design is always so extra and I can't stand it.
I think we can handle one little girl.
Can you though?
No, Lieutenant, your men are already dead.
But the confusion in my 14-year-old mind, she kills them? She's the bad guy? Now that's an entrance. What a character intro. Is it too early for a badass good girl? No, badass good girl. Every impact has so much weight behind it, and the camera technique that would be parodied for the next ever. It's still being parodied. And the utter confusion. Is the black-clad bone breaker a superhero? A supervillain? If you happen to go in blind, which was a little more common in the 90s, you might be confused. The entire scene is shot to leave you guessing. Easily wins the 4v1 fight and is still disappointed because she knows what comes next. How do the Wachowskis make the exact same action running over these corrugated roof triangles look so fluid and gorgeous when Trinity does it and painfully goofy when the cops do it? There's gonna be lots of yups in this movie, huh? Yup. OMG, Wade would already be given a standing ovation. Okay, I'm gonna chill, I promise, but have you ever actually listened to the sound design? And it even makes sense since The Matrix is essentially a photorealistic video game. I should know, I played Enter the Matrix. Solid aiming. So is there anything Trinity does that isn't super cool? In hindsight, this is one of those things that makes perfect sense, but do you remember thinking, why does he hate that phone? And how is her talking to whomever is on the other end worth dying for?
She got out.
I mean, they explain it quick, but with only that line in this visual.
We have the name of their next target.
The name is Neo.
Damn straight it is. Ha! So both wake up from being plugged into the Matrix, and also, we all know how quieter sounds or even a change in lighting can wake you up when they're different from the sounds or light you fell asleep to. All the Windows users were confused as to why Neo was trying to cut Trinity's text, but the Linux users knew he was just trying to close the window and get out of there. Ah, 101, like an entry-level course, the beginning for Neo, or is it just that he's the one? It's both. I like that Neo even has a sense of humor with the specific page that his copy of Simulacra and Simulation is turned to. Although ironically, inside the Matrix, everything has meaning and nothing is meaningless.
Hallelujah. You're my savior, man. My own personal Jesus Christ.
You get caught using that.
Yeah, I know. This never happened.
I mean, by the end, he's everyone's Matrix Jesus, but a cool of you to be ahead of the game.
You ever have that feeling where you're not sure if you're awake or still dreaming?
All the time.
You know, sort of like you're plugged into a big pod and this entire existence is one big simulated reality. Honestly, I love the extremely linear path the Wachowski sisters took with this script. Everything points with blinking red arrows, or white rabbits, to the place we're headed.
Yeah, get some R&R?
Reloaded in Revolutions?
Should we take him with us?
Definitely. Come on. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Sure.
So Neo might not seem like the type to just follow the instructions from some random, possibly dream text on his screen, but you have to remember what Trinity says in the next scene.
I was looking for an answer. It's the question that brought you here.
What is the Matrix? I'll go.
I love how absolutely rude and jarring the transition to Rob Zombie's Dracula playing in the club is, which, fun fact, is a real BDSM club in Sydney.
Who are you?
My name is Trinity.
Also, well, if there was anyone left who wasn't in love with Carrie Ann Moss yet, they sure are now.
I just thought, you were a guy.
Most guys do.
Got him. Or us. Just because he's prophesied to be the love of your life doesn't mean you shouldn't call him on his crap. So we cut to the reprimand scene through the cleaning of a window, making something that's blurry clearer, just like Neo is trying to do with his life right now. Also the dripping water, a motif used throughout the entire trilogy, is reminiscent of the Matrix Code.
You believe that you are special, that somehow the rules do not apply to you.
He hates robot and agent authority alike. He is the one, and eventually he breaks the rules of the Matrix by literally conquering death, so you are correct, sir.
Because every single employee understands that they are part of a whole.
Also, the boss is literally just laying out how the Matrix functions.
Either you choose to be at your desk on time from this day forth.
And back to the linear path of this movie, he's late because Trinity told him to follow the White Rabbit, which kept him out late at the club, making him late, causing more unrest in his Matrix reality. Dang it, the constant camera flips and slides. Always putting us on edge, always keeping us guessing.
Oh, shit. Yes.
Morpheus, you cocky SOB. Love how the agents always move perfectly in sync since they're connected. This was always a super tense scene, but we're already seeing the real world cracking into the Matrix. And it makes Neo look insane.
How do you know all this?
We don't have time, Neo. Stay here for just a moment. Go now.
I love that Morpheus plays this whole thing off like he's some kind of fortune teller when in reality he just has a bird's eye view. Don't discount pageantry when you're trying to reveal the truth to people. That sounds like something a grifter would say. I've honestly never given too much thought to the score, but man, are these violins unnerving. This entire sequence just puts you on edge. I'm also realizing that these horns often coincide with something dealing with heights. They come up again in the chopper scene later. Dang it, this movie is just filled with interesting composition. The Wachowskis are already splitting Neo from the Matrix. The reflection of Neo and the agents in Trinity's mirror is in slow motion while the background characters are in real time. Yo, is this the architect's point of view? Yes, it is. Yeah, also that one. Sliding through the monitor into the green-tinted room since it's all the same plane of reality. It's all a big program, so the difference between the monitor and the actual space in the room is just different code. And I'm not sure if our brains even fully comprehend how green-graded everything inside the Matrix is. This is the color of the light hotspot on the agent's jacket. Even the objects are green.
It seems that you've been living 2 lives.
Well, Hugo weaving is always a win. That was quick. This performance, this bizarre, alien, oddest pregnant pauses. This man. And while Smith is talking about Neo's 2 lives, just like Morpheus later, he has 2 reflections of Neo in his glasses.
Go by the hacker alias Neo. I'm going to be as forthcoming as I can be, Mr. Anderson.
And Smith begins his lifelong obsession with dead naming Neo, always trying to push him back into the Matrix.
Wow, that sounds like a really good deal.
When they tell Keanu to act like you're bad at acting, he just channels Ted Logan. Hugo's tiny grunt.
What good is a phone call if you're unable to speak?
Lana and Lily tell me you secretly wanted to direct horror without telling me you secretly wanted to direct horror. This scene still unsettles me. Carnivore? It doesn't count. Never mind, it wasn't a secret. But this is actually less bothersome knowing that this is just like the agents adding a line of code. Yeah, code, no biggie. Hey, Keanu Reeves' workout routine.
You're going to help us, Mr. Anderson, whether you want to or not.
Ha! It's true. The architect will pretend to explain how in the next movie.
Go to the Adams Street Bridge.
If someone told me to go to the bridge rather than the underpass, I would not be waiting for them under it. So I guess that's why I'm not the one. Also, more rain looking like Matrix code.
Listen to me, Copper Top.
It's an inside baseball joke that took me years to understand. She's calling him a battery because he's still plugged in. It's like a Matrix slur.
Please, Neo. You have to trust me.
Hints that Trinity is already believing her part of the prophecy. Notice she doesn't say trust us, she says trust me. And who could blame her when this beautiful boy might be the one?
Try and relax.
Helpful anxiety advice. Always appreciated this angle versus a top-down. Thanks, Wachowskis. I was already grossed out enough.
That thing's real!
Define real. Again with this shot composition. Is it still a Dutch tilt if you don't start on the ground? So Neo is the one that entered, but Morpheus gets the now that's an entrance.
Right now, you're feeling a bit like Alice.
Well, there was that girl with the white rabbit tattoo, so yeah, a bit.
Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad.
This freaking guy. All right, Lawrence, just let the words fall out of your mouth like syrup.
When you pay your taxes. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
Best bit of marketing I've ever heard, and it's planted right into the movie. Dollar signs started blinking in the producer's eyes when they heard that line. Joke's on us because most of us still didn't know even after seeing the movie. An impossible shot with a pill in each lens, and it's so amazingly perfect. Ah, Neo's true reflection coming into focus. Also haven't mentioned the now classic ear-piercing little horror trill sound. It still disquiets me. That's right, a thesaurus unnerved, just for that sound. It's cold. And it's cold because he's starting to feel the goo around his body, and it's slowly feeling like it's suffocating him for the same reason. Absolutely amazing sound design with the echo and the modulation, like the one last death rattle from the Matrix as it loses control over Neo. Nightmare fuel. Just in general, it's weird the stuff that sticks with you, like that squeak of his hand against the inside of the pod. And you know, also the millions of human pods and that long jack that needs to be unscrewed from your head when you're unplugged. Also, he exits the tube just like he exited the Matrix. And of course, he can't swim. He's never done it or even used any of his muscles before.
Am I dead?
Well, that white light might have been confusing.
Why am my eyes hurt?
You've never used them before.
He also never technically used them in the Matrix either. Hating and still loving the sound design.
The little one behind you is Mouse.
Love how Mouse averts his eyes as if actual Jesus just walked onto the bridge, since, you know, he's a true believer. In the Bible, the end of Mark chapter 3, verse 11 reads, "You are the Son of God." You know, like Neo.
Welcome to the desert of the real. This is the construct. Welcome to the real world.
Okay, it's a classic movie, so we all take it for granted now. But in the theaters in 1999, nobody had any clue what was going on. This film takes a turn here that now is so obvious it's hard to imagine not seeing it. But believe me when I say that in 1999, we were all experiencing brain pudding.
Human beings are no longer born. We are grown.
The entire Fields of Humans sequence has such horror vibes without being the most grotesque imagery, but the concept is enough to make you, well.
When the Matrix was first built, there was a man born inside who had the ability to change whatever he wanted.
I know that Reloaded and Revolutions felt like a departure for a lot of people. Stylistically, obviously, but also narratively. The truth is that they set up the idea of Neo being the next incarnation of the One 45 minutes into the first movie. It also lines up perfectly with what the Architect says in the next movie about the One before Neo allowing Zion to be destroyed, freeing a few humans so they could rebuild Zion.
The Oracle prophesied his return, and that his coming would hail the destruction of the Matrix, end the war, bring freedom to our people.
They just don't know that Neo isn't the second one, he's the sixth one.
I gotta tell you, I'm fairly excited to see what you're capable of. If Morpheus is right, no. If you are, it's a very exciting time.
I mean, you sound excited, Tank.
I know Kung Fu.
Show me. This is a sparring program.
Dang it, I love how we just went from 90s hacker movie to creepy sci-fi cyberpunk dystopia, and now it's a straight-up kung fu movie. The shot framing and the way the camera moves have changed to reflect just that.
But your weakness is not your technique.
It's not your cheating ability either. Okay, it's not really cheating when you're still the underdog, and I always love the feeling that Neo is starting to have fun. He's surprised and enthralled by what his limbs can do. And to be fair, we should be astonished since Keanu broke his neck while training for this movie. And I'll just never get tired of this fight. I know every move, I've seen it a million times, it's still absolutely stellar. But as many times as I've watched it, this is the first time I'm seeing this perfect little yin and yang symbol they make. Quick feet! In this moment, Neo really thinks he's doing something, but alas.
You think that's air you're breathing now?
Hot damn, the lines just keep on coming. I remember feeling my brain expand when I heard that line in theaters.
Jesus Christ, he's fast.
Jesus Christ, indeed.
I don't believe it.
Still gets me. The best audience insert character ever conceived. Mouse gets it, so does Morpheus. Look at that look. Also, this frame with a dozen fists. And wow, as the cockiest video I've ever created, I just noticed for the first time the graphics of the street below the building loading in. Forgive me, pavement.
Morpheus will take him when he's ready.
Cypher managing to ooze creep at all times. He must be doing something the dreamer subconscious doesn't like.
You look around, what do you see?
A bunch of green stuff, mostly, even the typically white walk signals. And fun fact, lots of the extras in this scene are twins because it's a training program and you might as well reuse NPCs.
These people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy.
I guess that's a way of justifying all those people they murder later. Wait, are they just terrorists?
Freeze it.
If you are not one of us, you are one of them.
Love how when the street sounds cut out, it's as if they're on a soundstage. Because they are.
What are you trying to tell me? That I can dodge bullets?
No, Neo. I'm trying to tell you that when you're ready, you won't have to.
Morpheus literally tells us what's going to happen, and my mind will still be blown out my butt by this movie.
Now these sewers are all that's left of them.
Quiet.
Yeah, stop flirting, you flirty flirters. So flirting. Pretty solid hint that Cypher was up to no good since he turned off the monitors. Not as convincing as you might think, dudes.
Why, oh why didn't I take the blue pill?
It's because you're not based, bruh. I'm not a big Philip Mignon guy, more of a New York strip bro, but that does look both delicious and disgusting.
After 9 years.
Also, 9 years? Is Cypher the one that was too old and had trouble letting go? Methinks he is.
We have a rule. We never free a mind once it's reached a certain age. The mind has trouble letting go.
I don't want to be rich.
Like an actor.
Whatever you want, Mr. Reagan.
Weird. An actor with that name screwing everyone over?
Take chicken, for example. Maybe they couldn't figure out what to make chicken taste like, which is why chicken tastes like everything.
Look, I really like Mouse, and maybe he was unplugged so young that he didn't learn this idiom correctly, but no, everything tastes like chicken, not the other way around. I just hope he doesn't have to pay for this error. Just in case you forgot, this is technically a 90s movie. Here are some fast hacking and 90s jams. The mere idea that this movie, in a way, predicted that we'd have online personas. I want to talk more about it in the conclusion, but just take Morpheus, for example. His outfit isn't tactical, he wouldn't blend in, he just thinks it looks cool. And then there's Switch, the only one in white wearing a see-through shirt, and we all know now was originally meant to live up to her name by being female in the Matrix and male in the real world. Respect. Wait, did the blind guy just nod back to Morpheus?
Try not to think of it in terms of right and wrong. She is a guide, Neo. She can help you to find the path.
I like that Morpheus sets it up right away that she could potentially lie. She's just gonna send you down a path. The path of Neo.
You have to walk through it.
Well, that's a camera lens with a coat over it with half of Morpheus's tie draped on it. Ha! More white rabbits to follow. And a TV like in The Construct. And a helicopter from the next act. Which actually reminds me that the opening scene also sets up stuff with a kung fu sign and this literal smoking gun billboard. Much like I never tried to summon things to me with the Force, I definitely did not try to bend spoons with my mind after seeing this film for the first time. Definitely did not.
There is no spoon.
Exactly, the kid gets it. That's the end of part 1, but if you feel trapped inside the YouTube matrix, go watch part 2 right now on Nebula, my streaming service that has no YouTube ads and no sponsorship reads like this one, plus even extra content that isn't in the YouTube version of this video because the few minutes that I want to talk about the trans narrative will get the entire thing demonetized and possibly suppressed. And honestly, more importantly to me at this point, will open up some of my fans to a bunch of abuse by people who disagree, and I'd just rather avoid that for them. But ignoring it would be insane? So the entire video, part 1 and part 2 combined into one seamless video, plus extra conclusion, are on Nebula right now. Nebula is our streaming service where a bunch of awesome creators create exclusive content you can only find there, as well as their YouTube videos, all ad-free, sometimes even extended versions. You can also watch my Nebula exclusive videos on working titles for Stranger Things and Dexter. Not sure if you know this, but Dexter's back, so could be a fun thing to watch right now. And this is all possible because of the deal we've created with CuriosityStream, where if you sign up with my link below, not only do you get access to CuriosityStream, but you'll also get Nebula for free. And between now and tomorrow, November 28th, they're running a crazy 42% off special, making an annual plan $11.59. That's less than $1 a month. And once you get CuriosityStream, you should watch Out of the Cradle, which is just an absolutely amazing movie about the human evolutionary path, how we went from being one of the weaker hominids out of 20 different species to ruling the earth, and how our linear idea of chimp to human is just way more complex and interesting. It's a full hour and 56-minute movie. It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen on there. So click the link in the description or type the one on screen into your browser if that's your thing, curiositystream.com/CinemaWins, and sign up. Once you sign up for CuriosityStream, you'll quickly get an email about how to set up your Nebula account. And to be clear, it's not a trial. You'll have Nebula as long as you're a CuriosityStream member. But it's a huge help to the channel and to me, since Nebula is something I believe in and want to continue to succeed. It's a great way for us to try out new content, like with The Matrix, to be able to speak about things that should be talked about, but YouTube doesn't think advertisers like, and also the community can be kind of harsh sometimes. So click the link on screen, sign up and save 42%, less than $1 per month, nutso deal, and you'll get all of CuriosityStream and Nebula. Thanks.